A redistricting showdown at the state capitol. Live Copter 3 giving us some exclusive images over the Capitol right now. Governor Gavin Newsom is soon expected to decide how and if he will push state lawmakers to redraw California's congressional districts to help send more Democrats to Washington, D.C. Thanks for being with us at 6 today. I'm Golston Dart.
And I'm Edie Lambert. So this is in response to Texas, where state lawmakers will start talking about doing the same thing, but for Republicans. KCRA 3's Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala explains the challenge with redistricting here in California.
Well, here at the state capitol, it's summer recess, so California lawmakers are gone for about a month. But when they get back, they could be stepping into a redistricting war. It depends on just how far Texas state lawmakers and Governor Gavin Newsom are willing to go. This Saturday, Texas state lawmakers are set to start hearings on whether to redraw the state's congressional lines. It's a push to send 5 more Republicans to the U.S. House of Representatives in the 2026 election.
They're just throwing what they can against the wall to see what sticks.
Texas's Democratic Party chairman with this call.
I hope that Democrats across the country will stand up and send a strong message that we're not here to take it.
Message received by Governor Gavin Newsom.
I'm not going to be passive at this moment.
He's still deciding whether to take California's redistricting process away from the state's independent, citizen-led commission and put it back into the hands of California's Democratic-dominated legislature for the first time in 2 decades. Newsom said he'll either try to take the issue to California voters in a special election this year, or he'll just ask lawmakers to redraw the lines themselves.
Which of these seems like the most viable to you?
I checked in with Paul Mitchell, California elections expert and vice president of Political Data, Inc.
They could start drawing districts, and when all those districts were drawn and when they passed the bill, somebody would likely sue.
Mitchell said both of Newsom's options involve a lot of work in a little bit of time. The redraw likely needs to be done by the end of this year.
Going to the voters with a ballot measure is a different kind of complex issue, and that is that you need voters to simultaneously believe 2 things. One is, we know that voters support independent redistricting commissions. About 70% of voters in polling that I've done for a decade have supported that concept. It would require voters to think, okay, I'm so angry about what's happening in Texas. I believe that we need to kind of fight fire with fire, so I'm willing to have us go to partisan redistricting, even if it's for 1 election.
Mitchell said California could likely redraw 5 districts to boot Republicans from office and send more Democrats to D.C.
Are you worried about your seat with this discussion happening?
No, because I think California voters, if this comes to them again, will reaffirm what they've already established, which is that this process should be nonpartisan.
Rockland's Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley says it's important that California politicians don't choose their voters.
I think this should be alarming to anyone who cares about democracy and fairness.
I reached out to the Democratic leaders of California's Assembly Elections Committee and State Senate Elections Committee. That's Assemblymember Gail Pellerin and State Senator Sabrina Cervantes. Neither one weighed in directly on what Governor Gavin Newsom is considering, but they did criticize Texas's push. They said basically anything moving forward will prioritize California voters. Reporting at the state capitol, Ashley Zavala, KCRA 3 News.
Governor Gavin Newsom's been on vacation, and he gets back later this week. His office said there's nothing new to share about his decision-making or a timeline on that decision when we reached out today.